There are only 2 or 3 phones in 2026 that I absolutely can't wait to get my hands on, and the Unihertz Titan 2 Elite is on that list. I love the Titan 2, but I do believe that Unihertz left some in the locker room on that device. So we have the Titan 2 Elite in hand. It's been 48 hours. I'm going to give you my impressions and some things the company has to work on before release. And we're back. Here it is. I gotta say, when there were initial rumors, and it turned out to be true, that the Titan 2 Elite was going to be the same thickness as the Titan 2, I worried a little bit because that was definitely a bulkier device. But for some reason, the 10.4 millimeters bothers me less, only because compact form factor, 163 grams, I think it is. This is a nice, light form factor, compact to hold in your hand. It's overall a joy, and it does bring back, despite that additional thickness, absolutely reminds me of having a BlackBerry Classic in my pocket, which I absolutely love. Let's talk about, normally I'd start with the keyboard on a Unihertz Titan device, but I want to start with the display because, man, that was the one thing on my Titan 2 that I just wish, I'm like, boy, if there were just an OLED panel on this device, it would be absolutely awesome, because the LCD, while it's okay, it's not kind of the high quality LCD that we had on the BlackBerry Passport. It just, you could tell the colors were a little washed out. It just wasn't quite there. This OLED, on the other hand, is absolutely gorgeous. Just over 4 inches, rounded corners. It looks awfully like what you're going to get on the Clix Communicator. I don't know if they sourced the panels from the same people. But man, is this a gorgeous display. Unihertz gives us vividness options like Samsung. I cranked up the vividness, the saturation on this display. It's bright enough to see outdoors. It's not, 3,000 nits. I think it's like 1,600 nits, something like that. But it gets the job done. Higher refresh rate, 120 hertz. So you're starting to see some of these premium features from Unihertz on this device, the Titan 2 Elite, and I like it. It makes a difference. There's these minor things that are the difference between this device and the Titan 2 that give it that refinement that you usually find from more expensive Android manufacturers. Now, not exactly cheap, right? The early bird special on Kickstarter will get you $390 to get you one of these. $490 would be the regular price, and I think it's $480 for the Pro, which launches later on. So this is the standard model. This is the one that's coming out in June. It's got a Dimensity 7400, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. That'll get the job done. $380, that's hard to argue with. $490, more of a conversation. But when you're talking about a device like this, it's a specialized audience anyway. You put something like this up against a Pixel 10a for the same money, and you're like, what are you talking about? But this is a phone designed for people who want a communications device that is compact, enjoyable to use, and fits nicely in your pocket. Some awesome things about it too. Just over 4,000 milliamp hours. Silicon carbon battery does make a difference. Battery life has been awesome for the first 2 days. NFC, I know that matters for a lot of people. eSIM, if you need it. Now let's talk about that keyboard. Hand on heart, if I had to choose between the two, I'd want the keyboard on the Titan 2. It's just bigger. I like my Passport better. I like that third row. Just being able to kind of go through things. I like the key travel a bit better. I like the switch a bit better. This is really good though. If you were a BlackBerry Classic fan, if you were a BlackBerry Bold fan, like I was as well, this really brings that home. This really gives you that feel because of the sloped keys, because of the way they're designed. This absolutely, with the capacitive touch that you never got on your BlackBerry Bold or your BlackBerry Classic. So this is really, really nice in the hand. I like the fact that they sent the black one. There is that orange one as well, but I like that I get this just BlackBerry black with that OLED display. This is pretty close to what you would have wanted as an old school BlackBerry. And we keep getting closer and closer to this is the best you're going to do as far as the BlackBerry is concerned in 2026. Goofy settings, they're going to go over that in another video closer to when people are going to get their hands on them, because you got to, I set it where the backlight on the keyboard matches the screen timeout, because that makes sense, because a lot of times I turn the screen on and the backlight wouldn't go on. There are some things that Unihertz needs to work out. Unihertz sends out its review models significantly earlier than other companies. So this isn't going to come out until June, but this is April and I have my review unit. I got an engineering sample for the Titan 2. So there are some things that the company will need to work on. These phones aren't even certified yet. I haven't been able to log into X. Tech Odyssey has after a while. He has some problems as well. I'm getting the message from T-Mobile basically saying this isn't going to work on the network. But there are a lot of things that are going to be taken care of that Unihertz maybe in the past wouldn't take care of. These phones are going to be, 5G, are going to be certified on a ton of networks. Not going to have to worry about it as much in the United States as you had these devices in the past. 5 years of software support. This is running Android 16 with a March patch. That's pretty good. I know a lot of people have been burned by Unihertz in the past, but you don't have to worry about it as much this time. It's powerful enough that Dimensity 7400 does the job. You'll be able to go on Twitter and Instagram and scroll and do everything that you want to do, and it's not a problem. You got that smoother refresh rate display. I have ChatGPT on our threads, WhatsApp. I'm using everything. My main SIM is in this guy right now, using it. Telegram, Reddit, whole thing for work, Slack. I've had no problems. And yes, you do type a little slower on these keyboards, but it's a purposeful device. You know, not every, if you were to go to the Rolls-Royce factory, their main concern isn't top speed. It's handling, it's the ride, it's the user experience. That's the same thing here. Sure, if I'm in a meme battle in the group chat or something like that, or I'm trying to fire off a fast message, a lot of times it is easier to go to my glass slab machine and go ahead and type that out on an iPhone or an Android or anything like that, traditional smartphone. But that's not the purpose of this. I find that what I write is a lot more purposeful. I find this a lot more accurate, and it's a much more enjoyable experience. Now, these are a little softer, I'd think, than the Titan 2 switches. My top row is a little stiff, but it's come in a little bit, so it's not quite the consistency I had with the Titan 2 keyboard. We'll see as it gets if it wears in at all. But overall, it's a nice experience. Really no issues. As long as I hit everything square, I'm able to go ahead and get a proper click on all these keys. I like the layout position. The Alt key is fine. I like the fact that you got some home and function, everything, and symbols in here. It really is just reminiscent of a BlackBerry. Then you have the programmable keys on the side. You got the short presses, the long presses. Unihertz has done an excellent job with its software, going ahead and allowing you a bunch of different customization options, shortcut keys. You could go through the whole thing here. Left, shift, alt. You could go down the whole row here. Whole row. Go into the letter keys. And then you could get keyboard shortcuts. You could turn those on, and then you could go through the whole thing. If you want A, long press, short press, pulling up apps. That to me is what the benefit is of a lot of these. You've seen those with those clicks keyboards. People like being able to pull up apps on these devices with just a press of a button. There is a lot of productivity to be had. I might mess with different launchers. I happen to like what Unihertz has done with the software, but I might mess with different launchers to just try to get that experience on here. Gemini, no problems. Cameras, okay. Dual camera setup, dual 50 megapixel camera setup, they're okay. You don't quite get the processing that you do on some of those other phones from Google and Samsung, but you know what? That's not the end of the world. It does a much better job than some of the Unihertz devices in the past. You don't typically buy these devices for their cameras, but it's pretty darn good. Micro SD card expandable storage, that's something that people are going to want to look at. IR Blaster, something Unihertz brings back. At least it doesn't have that display on the back, which a lot of people wished they had gotten rid of for the Titan 2. I would love to have seen a headphone jack on this thing. It certainly is thick enough for it, but we get enough of the creature comforts, refinement, and that display. I tell you what, you marry a really excellent display with an excellent keyboard in a compact 4-inch form factor. I don't care about the thickness at that point. I picked this up immediately, and I've been using this, and it is just so enjoyable, and that screen is a huge part of it. The keyboard's excellent, yes, but that screen is certainly something special. So are there things that Unihertz has to clean up before the release? Sure, they have a couple months to do that. Software-wise, we're going to see what they do. 5 years of support is promised. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see the frequency of the updates. We'll see how many new features are actually implemented into Android. But all steps in the right direction. Unihertz is really growing up. Now, the price is growing up with it. If you don't get this on the early bird special, all of a sudden you're looking at close to $600 for an Elite Pro. That's a different conversation. But you can pick up one of these now, $390. If you're telling me this is $390 on a Kickstarter, that's a no-brainer to me. If you're a keyboard fan in 2026, this is one of the, now you're going to have the Clicks Communicator, but this is one of the last stops that you're going to have. And boy, Unihertz has managed to improve in the right areas to give the phones a fit and finish and just a maturity that hasn't been there in the past. So initial thoughts on this one, positive, but work to be done. some question marks there, but overall, I think if you're putting your money down on something like this on the Kickstarter, you're off to an excellent start. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe. You know, I have my notes here that I usually look through, but then I'm marinating a salmon in a couple minutes. It's the first time doing that. I got soy, I got lemon juice. I got to go upstairs and do that because I have two grills. Right, I've got the charcoal Weber, and then I've got a gas propane Weber. So the charcoal's for the steaks and the sausages, and then I've got the propane one for the chicken and fish and stuff like that. A bit excessive, maybe. Delicious, absolutely. Until next time, have a delicious day.